Welcome back to Vlogmas Day 3. I feel like I'm finally starting to catch my groove, but I have something a little different today. Last week, I reset the entire booth for Christmas. Took everything in from the craft show and I really just kind of stuffed it as much as possible. And with starting Vlogmas, I didn't get a chance to show you all of that. So now that it's been a whole week, I'm gonna show you the reset in my booth and then come back and tell you everything that sold this week. And to be honest, I think it'll surprise you as much as it has surprised me. If it happens to be your first time here, my name is Laura and I'm using YouTube to share my process of starting my own small business. This month I'm doing Vlogmas, which means I'm posting every day. If you want to help me out, take a second and click subscribe. Okay, here is the booth reset. Today is the very first time I'm doing a full reset in my booth. I have the entire car filled with Christmas. This is everything I have left over from the craft show and it needs to go into the booth because tomorrow is Thanksgiving. That means Black Friday is coming up and Small Business Saturday, so I think it's gonna be super busy. In order to fit all of these things, I have to move some furniture and make some space. You're gonna have to stick around to see if it all fits. Somehow it always seems so much bigger in my mind, and then you get in here and you're like, oh, it is really small. No idea how we're gonna fit everything. I also have two things that are not mine. I'll take those down to the front desk. Everything is up now, it's time to organize. It's so much stuff.
Set myself aside, lead the way on this trial. If you don't know the way, we can stop and make a change. I know we walk for days, losing hope, fading love. This night will be okay, waking up to another day. Set myself aside, lead the way on this trial. If you don't know the way, we can stop and make a change. I know we walk for days, losing hope, fading love. This night will be okay, waking up to another day.
You just hit a wall. I have all of this set up exactly how I want it, but I have two more things of Christmas to leave and I need to figure out what to do with this corner. I knew not everything would fit, but I have a feeling this is gonna end up being more than I planned to take home. 3.5 hours later, I have everything up for Christmas. I'm hoping it's a huge weekend. It's really packed right now. Here's a tour of everything I just did. so hard to believe how much time it took. It's almost dark out. The store closes at 5, it's 4:15. In the days leading up to this reset, I sold 2 vintage Christmas items. To me, these were some of the coolest and definitely the most vintage items that I had. The first thing was a Santa Christmas tree topper. I found this at a Salvation Army a month ago. I felt like I was saving it from a heap of old Christmas items. This sold for $16. And I found this pair of vintage reindeer this summer at a garage sale. Those sold the day before I showed up for this reset. They were paper mache. One of the antlers did need some repair, so it was something that I had to do a little work to, but they sold the day before I showed up for this reset for $28. And since putting all of the Christmas items in, I have sold one of them. I really had high hopes that that weekend, being Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, that people would be there, they'd grab a cup of coffee and walk around the store and kind of want to gather some of the Christmas decorations, and that did not happen. Let's go through them before we talk about what that means for me. The first thing that sold was this mink book. And I picked this up months ago, probably in June, right after I got on the waiting list for the booth. I ended up selling it for $6. It just so happens that mink had been in the news lately, so before I left the booth last week, I actually tipped this up and gave it prime real estate. I'm not surprised that someone bought it. The second thing I sold was this metal pig. It's actually from Crate and Barrel, and I picked it up at a garage sale this summer, and I'm surprised it hasn't sold sooner. But as everybody says, when you move things around, people see them and then they pick them up. That was definitely the case for this one. It was way over on the right side of the booth, maybe even tucked in a little. I kind of put it in front hoping that it would sell and then more things behind it would be visible. The single Christmas item that sold was the embroidery hoop that has buffalo plaid in the back and then the wood Joy to the World in the front. This was one of the smaller ones. I have those priced at $8, which might be the reason why it sold. All of the bigger wreath decorations are over $20, so that might be the reason why they gravitated towards that one. And then the final thing I sold was one of the most interesting. It's a steel tape that I got at a garage sale this summer, and it's definitely broken. So the end of a steel tape usually has a hook that you can pull out the tape and measure. It's missing the hook, and you can see where the steel broke around like 2 or 3 inches. I did put on the tag that it was a decorative steel tape. I mentioned that it was broken, so the person who bought it knew that the intent was not to actually measure something, but it had a leather case and I think it would be a really neat decoration, so it's fun that someone else saw that. I was able to sell that item for $16. So even though I didn't make a sweeping push at the end of November to really build up my sales, at least the booth looks awesome for December. That left side of the booth is one of the less cluttered areas. So everything else is just stuffed to the gills, and then I took probably 3 bags of things out of that side so that people could see each thing, and I think that that strategy definitely paid off. So while it's good to have a treasure hunt and have people look through things, all 3 of the things that sold from that left side were just out front or on top and didn't require a lot of looking. So for me, that means I need to take that strategy into the spring reset, really focus on the quality of the items and how it's set up versus having a high quantity. My original setup was meant to do that, but I think I just got so much stuff that it just became overwhelming. Especially with the Christmas craft show. I know that that was a wild card. Hopefully more of that sells. I do think some of those are actually gonna come home with me next time I go over so that I can do more decorations around our house. If you guys are interested in knowing more about my sales at the booth and maybe even the pricing, let me know in the comments so that I can do more videos like this. Pricing is one of the biggest questions I had before starting and continues to be something that I'm very interested in. And I'm really optimistic, being my second full month in the booth, to be able to still have sales, see some changes, and have a platform to grow from. And December is just getting started, so I can't wait to see what it brings. That is it for day 3 of Vlogmas. Tomorrow I am posting on my Laura on the Move channel, so you're gonna have to go there to see a video from me. We are eating chicken wings in Buffalo, so you're not gonna wanna miss it. It's at the Anchor Bar, the birthplace of the chicken wing. Once it's live, I'll post it on the community tab so that you don't miss it. But I'll be right back here on Monday at 9 a.m. I'll see you then.